not judge people by the color of their skin. I don't really care what color their hair, skin, or eyes is. I judge by the content or the way they treat me. MLK said, I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That dream has come true. I do not care or look at the color of skin, but you make me think of it. I have Asian, Mexican, white, Chinese, black friends, and I don't care.
It's a damn shame. Her parents have failed her. Now, once again, my attention is not to this 9-year-old. That's why I decided to make sure her face is blurred out for this program. But this is the unfortunate reality of what is being taught to children across this country. And shame on these parents for not having the fortitude to simply address the school board themselves.
On SNAP benefits being cut, health insurance premiums about to go through the roof, your rent going up, your pay stagnating, groceries just being astronomical, is because reparations were never paid after the Civil War.
I'm a racist in recovery. If you haven't seen me before, hi, my name's Janelyn. I have been talking about how I was born and raised in the deep South, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, raised to be a racist, and how I've been dismantling that for the last 15 years. If you like this content, give me a follow. If you have any comments or questions, please put it in the comments. I will respond to it. If you have any particular topics that you want me to talk about, leave those in the comments. Let's talk about white privilege. I think a lot of white people don't want to accept this concept. I get it. I get why. Like, I'm thinking, I don't have white privilege. I haven't had anything handed to me. I've worked for everything I have. I have worked my ass off, and life has not been easy. I've been through a lot of shit. I get that. But what white privilege is not, it's not having your life handed to you on a silver platter. It doesn't mean you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. It doesn't mean that you haven't worked really hard. It doesn't mean that you haven't experienced loss or failure. It doesn't mean that you haven't had significant obstacles to overcome. It simply means that the color of your skin did not add to those struggles. And I think this goes hand in hand with recognizing and admitting that we have systemic racism or racist laws, racist practices in this country. Because if you can understand that there is racist laws or racist culture, then you can understand why, as a white person, you would have white privilege. You are not subjected to those racist laws. I'm just hoping that somebody will see this and just understand a little bit better that the concept of white privilege, or you admitting that you have white privilege, does not negate any hard work that you've put into your life, and it doesn't negate your struggles or what you had to do to get where you are. It just means that people of color have another barrier in a lot of ways. I invite comments on the topic. I would love to have a dialogue with anyone that's interested in this conversation. Just leave it in the comments and we can certainly talk about it more.
Every economic problem that we're facing in this country right now, student loan debt being just out of control, the government shutdown, SNAP benefits being cut, health insurance premiums about to go through the roof, your rent going up, your pay stagnating, groceries just being astronomical, is because reparations were never paid after the Civil War. Let me explain. After the Civil War, the Union, the North won and the South was defeated, but the South was never punished. The Confederacy lived on in the ideology of the people, of the white people of the South. Reparations were never paid to Black Americans. They were never really truly given the opportunity to pick themselves up by their bootstraps to rise up and become equal members of this country, equal citizens. They've been fighting for their equality since then. They've never actually truly achieved it. So when white people hear a promise from Donald Trump et al. That we're going to run the country like a business, to them that sounds appealing. They're like, oh yeah, because you know what? I'm a business owner. I own this country because I'm white. When black and brown people hear, well, we're going to run the country, run the government like a business, they understand what that means because they've been dealing with it for centuries. White people think that they are on the side of the owners, the masters, but they're not. Most white people have more in common with the black and brown people that they look down upon. They are closer to them in the economic tax bracket than they are to the white billionaires whose asses they kiss. But listen to them glazing billionaires, especially on this app. I make $50,000 a year, but I have more in common with Jeff Bezos than I do with George Floyd. Bullshit! The only reason the lie of let's run this country like a business appealed to you is because you thought you would benefit. And now here you are. Now here you are understanding that when they say we're going to run this country like a business, that means they're going to profit off of your ass. That means that if you take $100,000 loan out to go to college, you will be in debt to the federal government until the day you fucking die. You borrowed 100 grand, prepare to repay 300 grand because they're running the government like a business now. And guess what? You're a customer, not an owner. The government exists to serve us, not to profit off of us. And we will continue to have these problems until y'all get your fucking minds right.
So I posted about white folks on food stamps, and one thing I kept seeing was that welfare was created for white people.
But imagine how tired we are. Imagine how tired we are of it.
Did y'all see the video with the white man asking black people to step up and save America? Excuse me, sir. Didn't we try to sound the alarm and tell y'all that the competition that happened in November of last year, if you voted for the wrong person, what was going to happen?
Child, people love that same tired line. Get off government assistance and work harder. But let me tell you something. Child, those very benefits came from the mess that this country created from the beginning. If we didn't have a few people at the top, hoarding all the wealth, manipulating wages, inflating housing, exploiting labor, there wouldn't even be a need for SNAP, Social Security, or Medicaid. Just a quick crash course. SNAP, the S stands for supplemental. It's meant to fill in the gap. You can't fill in the gap. The size of the damn Grand Canyon, $15 an hour, and you still can't afford rent, food, and health care. And child, a one-bedroom apartment that used to be $800 is now $1,600. And groceries went up 25% since the pandemic, while CEOs made record profits. So when ignorant folks ask, what do you do with your October benefits? Like people supposed to save their EBT card. Baby, how you stock up when you don't even have enough to begin with? Child, and let's be clear. The face that they show when they talk about welfare, government assistance, is black. Baby, they've been running that lie for decades. But we know the truth. The majority of people on SNAP, Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, baby, they don't look like me and you. White folks are the biggest beneficiaries of every single one of these programs. So when you hear people saying they're taking our benefits, baby, who is they? Because it's been their community getting a lion's share of it all. Black and brown folks been getting the crumbs, while white America silently has been collecting the whole pie. So this isn't about laziness. It sounds good. It's about survival in a system that's been rigged since day one. And now white folks realizing the system don't love you either, baby. I don't know why we keep trying to humanize these monsters. And they keep showing us who they really are. Anyone who can smile while people can't eat. Anyone who cheers when people lose access to health care, baby, that's not leadership. That's evil in a suit. So no, the math ain't mathing. Greed is. So black people, drink your water. Stay rooted, real, and knowledgeable. And mind your black business. Happy Black History 365. And I'll see you next time.
Too many privileged white people are coming here on this app and they're talking about people that benefit from food stamps, which most of them happen to be white. Most of them happen to live in Republican states, red state. Now, don't blame the Democrats because this is absolutely Trump's doing. He can fund it if he wanted to. He's funding ICE. He's sending $40 billion to Argentina. Why are you not mad with him? The only thing the Democrats want to do is make sure that you have affordable health care and people are getting their notice. So not only you're not going to have your food stamps until the government is back in order, but you're going to have a big freaking healthcare bill coming January. And before you start coming over here complaining about the Democrats, I need you to go to the videos in which people are crying, teachers, healthcare professionals, in which their insurance has doubled or even tripled. Good luck on trying to get food and trying to stay healthy. I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but this is the frustration that we have with you, a lot of MAGA people, because you guys still haven't done.
See, y'all love to come on this app and be racist and be colorist and call black people the EBC community and sit here and say that Hispanic people are taking y'all government assistance and da-da-da-da. It takes 2 seconds to do a Google search and be educated. Not only can you go look up the list for government assistance, you can go look up the demographics for who is on that list. And if y'all look right here, what does that say? Whites. How much do y'all make up on government assistance? Again, it takes 2 seconds to educate yourself. And coming from somebody who has high-paying clients with my business, 90% of my high-paying clients are black. They have their own businesses doing all of that without business loans because they can't get them half of the times. So they have to rely on their own community. And 90% of the time, they figure something out.
Government assistance was made for white people. The fact that the programs were made in like 1935, like in the 1930s, says it all right there, given the fact that black people were not even considered people under the law at that time. But I've really been doing some more research and reading, and I read an article and they were talking about how like up until like the 60s or 70s, black people really could not qualify for government assistance. And that is absolutely disheartening, being that now it hasn't even been 100 years later that black people are now the face of all racial stereotypes regarding government assistance in Section 8. Meanwhile, these same programs were never even made for us. Meanwhile, black people had to jump through hoops to get qualified. Meanwhile, people talk about black fathers not being in the home, and these same government institutions were not wanting the men to be there. Like, what the fuck?
White people, you know I love y'all to death, but I got to get something straight with y'all right now. It's been brought to my attention several times, that for whatever reason, y'all think that black people are the ones that's been using all the welfare benefits. No, sweetie. Out of all the demographics in the world, white people are the ones who have been using welfare the most. And by the way, it's been that way for years. It's not black people. It's white people. Y'all are the ones that's on welfare. Believe it or not. Like, as of now, I think it's probably like 36% or something like that of white people on welfare to like 26% or 25% of black people. And there's nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But just get your facts straight. I know it's hard to believe and I know it's hard to receive, but it's y'all that are getting all the benefits. It's y'all that's on welfare. It's not the black folks. It's not the Hispanic folks. It's no other culture other than y'all. And again, that's okay. But accept that. It's okay. It's okay. Along with, you know what I'm saying, everything else that y'all have, y'all also have the most people on welfare. So sleep on that tonight. Oh, and I almost forgot. Love ya.
Finally, you get to see the true America. The stipulation has always been that black people are lazy, that black people are on welfare. Well, guess what? A lot of poor white people in the red states are now crying that they're not getting the EBT money from the EBT cards. Why? Because they are on welfare. They have 7 and 8 kids. Now the truth is coming out since Trump has slashed funding for the EBT and the SNAP programs. You see how many white people now are on welfare. So all this mythical stuff about black people being on welfare, oh, it's the blacks, it's the blacks, it's the blacks. Now you're seeing the real America, that it's not only black people on welfare, that there are a lot of white people on welfare also. There are a lot of white people, a lot of poor people living in those red states, and those red states that voted for Trump are now getting hit.
Okay, so like, do any other poor people feel this way, right? Like, I'm planning again for my monthly budget, or like, it usually ends up being a yearly budget, and I just overwhelm myself. Every single month I do this. And my car insurance went up, and that's like, it went up by like $200, which for me is a lot. And I don't know why I do this to myself, where like, I feel like setting goals a year, 2, 3 years down the line is just so, like, I need to do it now. Like, I have to find a way to do it now. If I can't do it now, it's never gonna get done. Like, I'm never gonna realize this goal. Like, I need to get a driveway, I need to do this, I need blah, blah, blah. But that's like, but it makes me so stressed out when I think of things that way. And also, like, if you came to me and you're like, hey, you only have like 3 more years left to live, like, do with that what you will, I wouldn't be stressing out about these things that I'm stressing out about. Like, I wouldn't be stressing out about the fact that, like, I need to paint my barn, and I need to put up a fence, and I need to, like, you know, I don't know. So I don't know, like, what my priorities should be. And then because of that, I feel like my priorities are split between be happy and pay off your credit card debt, you know? And I don't know what the right choice is, because everyone's like, oh, clearly you need to pay off your credit card debt. But, like, also, like, I would like to leave the country one time. Like, I would like to leave the continental United States. So that's, just let me know if that's how you guys, if anyone else feels this way. Because and then, like, I'll watch people who do, like, low, like, gross annual income budgeting, and this is a completely other tangent, and they started, like, $4,000 a month, and I was like, if I made $4,000 a month, I wouldn't be having this problem.
So I posted about white folks on food stamps, and one thing I kept seeing was that welfare was created for white people.
And let me take this time to renew my hatred for Bernie Sanders, who came on Twitter saying that this is about the Democrats leaving the working class. The Democrats never left the working class. Working class white people got upset and went to the Republican Party, where they could be openly racist and angry and blame everybody except for the billionaires whose pockets they are fattening and whose power they are giving theirs to. And if we, as a party and as a culture on the left, are not going to ever talk about racism and white people's problems with non-white people having access to the same types of benefits that they have, so that if we happen to do better than them, that they don't panic and freak out and think somebody's taking something away from them, that they accept that it was on our own merit and our own terms because we had the same chance as them, we're not going to get anywhere. What you guys are talking about is courting racists back into our party, while the base of your party is black people, the only people who show up for you every single time. And you are telling us that the reason these other people are not showing up is because they're worried about the economy. Yes, they are. But their worry about the economy is rooted in racist beliefs and talking points that are being perpetuated by the other side. And it's a religious dogma type of propaganda that they're putting out here. And we can't combat that with facts. These people religiously believe these things. We can't logically talk them out of it. And continuously placing the blame on economic anxiety and not getting down to the root of that and where it is coming from is so disingenuous and so frustrating. And that's why I will not support Bernie Sanders, because he keeps trying to act like this is a dollars and cents issue. It's not. Dollars and cents are part of it, but racism and sexism and all the phobias are also tied into it. This is about straight white men struggling to grasp onto power, white women backing them up because they associate them with that power, and other marginalized groups feeling like if they could get close to that power by also supporting them, that they can have that same success, which is ironically what the people on that side do not want them to have.
So I'm not really sure how I made it over to the white men crying on video about their finances side of TikTok. But I was over there for a little bit. And at first I was like laughing because it's like FAFO, right? Because like y'all voted for this and now it's affecting you. But then I started to think like these are normally the people that, and so to see them online in this much disarray where they're on video crying in full tears about their finances and how mad they are, y'all be safe out here.
Hi. Today's a conversation about white people comparing this epidemic to the Great Depression. Now, they're talking about we're getting government handouts and how they're tired of it and everything. We all know that Roosevelt implemented the Federal Emergency Relief Act May 12th of 1933. No black person got assistance then. No black person got assistance then. No black person got assistance then. I can promise you that. We weren't even considered people. So how can you complain about something like this? I'm confused. How is this anything like the Great Depression? Y'all will make up an excuse for anything because y'all just see minorities on handouts and you just assume this. The white people that don't know. There are generations of, white families that have been on public assistance since it started. So never think that it's only minorities. White people get food stamps. They get Medicaid. They get assistance all the time. They were the first to receive it. But it's a problem. Minorities get it. Could someone answer that for me?
The white people in USA, they are suffering. They are crying all over social media, stating that their life has become very expensive and unbearable. They are begging the black people to intervene so that they can remove this regime. They thought that voting for Trump, everything will be good and it will be best for them. According to these people, black people are the one who are supposed to suffer. They are stating that black people, they suffer because of their skin. And right now, they are the ones suffering in their own country. They're saying that they cannot even afford food. They cannot even afford gas. They're saying that they even think that Trump is after them, that Trump wants to finish all of them. They said that Trump was supposed to make America great again, but right now it's worse because of the VAT, because of the tariffs. It has increased taxation and a lot of people cannot even afford food. They're saying that they are regretting voting for Trump and they want everyone to intervene, to come together and remove this regime. To be honest, I don't think the black people, they are going to join them because they want them not to vote for Trump, but they did not listen.
Historically speaking, white people have always been adverse to manual labor. They have always found some way to source out their labor, whether it be tilling the lands, farming their food, mining the mines, the railroads. Now, in the age of manufacturing, it's all of their products, right? And the Chinese have been able to take advantage of this aversion. They've built their whole economy around it, in fact. It's actually funny because it's like a two-step mental process, because in white people's justification that they aren't made for manual labor, they've created a whole economy around servicing where they don't have to do manual labor, and then convince the entire world that people who do manual labor are less valuable By service providing, I mean all the like computer, hello, how are you doing type shit, right? The email drafting and basically the corporate bourgeoisie world, right? And that's really just the slave versus the overseer mindset, right? Someone does all the work and then you have someone manage the workers. That's basically what white supremacy is. Racism has always just been their justification for not wanting to be laborers. And the job market, the corporate world, college educated, all of that is used to justify their aversion to labor. So here we are 159 years later, which is when slavery ended. We've established an entire economy around managing laborers. We source everything in America because of white people's aversion to labor, and then we slap logos on it, slap all this mental cognitive, everything that white people have created is jumping mental loops to justify the fact that they do not labor at all. There's no difference in these products. They're all made in China, right? The only difference is they create this sense of branding and comfort around imaging and all of these things to get you to have the mental cognitive to buy the branding, because the products are all the same, because they're all made at the same factory. Everything about white supremacy is just jumping through mental loops to make you forget the fact that they do not make anything, that they are not laborers, that they refuse to do work, right? So that we will continue to spend money and work for them. The economy in America thrives off of all of this mental manipulation, because the truth of the matter is we do not make anything. We just manage everything. We manage our image. We manage the propaganda about who we are to the rest of the world, about what it is that white people actually do for jobs in America. It's all mental manipulation. We're a country of narcissists.
The wholesale price index came in 3 times higher than expected, and this is bad news for a Trump economy. See, it was only expected to rise 0.3%. Instead, it rose 0.9%, which set off alarm bells across all major markets. And we see the Dow Jones is down today. We see the S&P 500 is down today, and other markets are trending down. Now, this might not seem like a huge deal, a 0.6% difference, but for the year to date, it's up 2.2%, which is the largest annual jump since 2022. And this is the largest single month jump since February. The Trump economy is in trouble. You have consumer spending down. You have consumer luxury item spending down. Consumer travel down. Las Vegas is throwing out concerns that they're seeing lower numbers of individuals coming to the city, which is always a sign for some sort of recession or economic pullback. We'll see what actually happens, but so far, it's not looking good.
Full disclosure, clearly I am a white, non-Indigenous person, but the level of hypocrisy, I think is the word for it, amongst my peers. So, give an example. So there's a homeless epidemic Australia-wide. Brisbane's no different, but councils here, and I think other places as well, are evicting homeless people from parks because the local residents are complaining. Like, they don't like homeless people in their area because they see it's their land, right? They're the ratepayers, so they have every right to complain because, well, they're ratepayers and they own the land. And yes, that's true. Legally, they do have a title deed which says they own the land. And yes, they do pay rates. But that land was never sold to them by Indigenous people. It was stolen. And our very own laws say that anyone in receipt of stolen property has to give it back, whether you paid good money for it or not. But that land was never sold to them by Indigenous people. It was stolen. And our very own laws say that anyone in receipt of stolen property has to give it back, whether you paid good money for it or not. But that land was never sold to them by Indigenous people. It was stolen. And our very own laws say that anyone in receipt of stolen property has to give it back, whether you paid good money for it or not. So the hypocrisy of residents and ratepayers saying that it's their land and they should be able to complain because it's their land. Don't really need to say any more about that. But I think maybe it stems from the entitlement that is inherent amongst white people like me, where because we are entitled, because we think because our system is superior to any Indigenous system of law that existed, that we are the rightful owners, when in fact we're not. And there's a big difference between what's legal and what's ethical. And it's not ethical for any of us to claim ownership of any land here, and therefore to in any way have want anything to be done about homeless people on that same land. It's as much a homeless person's land as it is a rate holder's piece of land.
So I posted about white folks on food stamps, and one thing I kept seeing was that welfare was created for white people. I knew that it was created during the New Deal, so I did some more research because I didn't really know the whole story, and I thank you guys for responding and helping me learn stuff. So during the Great Depression is when we saw the beginning of things like Social Security, unemployment insurance. But here's the kicker. When Franklin Roosevelt built those programs, he had to make deals with Southern Democrats in Congress, the same folks who were big fans of Jim Crow, to get the support of these racist white Southern politicians. The programs were designed to exclude farm workers, domestic workers, jobs held overwhelmingly by Black, Latino, and Indigenous people. So right from the start, Black and brown families were pushed out of benefits so that white people could get them. Then we move forward to the 1960s, and there's this war on poverty. It finally opened up welfare programs more broadly, and that's when food stamps became permanent. Well, permanent, we don't know what Trump's going to do to them, but they lasted a long time. And guess what? The minute more Black and brown families started accessing this help, the politics shifted. Welfare got a new image and a new target. By the 1980s and 90s, with Ronald Reagan and his gang, they pushed the welfare queen myth. That's a racist dog whistle meant to turn public opinion against safety nets by blaming Black women for poverty that white policies created. That's the truth, you guys. So yes, welfare was built for white people, and when others finally got in the door, they tried to burn the house down. If you want to blame the right people, you got to get curious.